Hello, I'm Gareth Walker and I'm here for the West Yorkshire Football Show with some post-match reaction to last night's defeat up at Newcastle in the League Cup. Disappointing night to lose, but very proud to be there in the first place. Great experience to go to St James's Park. I'd never been before. I know some City fans had. We've played them not very often really in the last sort of 20 years. I think we played them a couple of times in the Cup about 20, 25 years ago. Obviously in the league, in the Premier League. Team selection was a little bit surprising. I think he'd made 5 changes. Obviously, Kieran Kelly played. Neil Byrne played. Aidan Baldwin was injured. And then Nick Powell and Stephen Humphreys both played, which was a little bit of a surprise. Will Swan, disappointing that he's injured as well. He's hopeful that he'll be back for Saturday. And then... Powell coming in for Sarcevic was a little bit of a disappointment too. Halliday came in at right wing back for Nerfville, which was a surprise. Obviously, Nerfville's been really good for us this season. Obviously, Brad Halliday never lets anyone down. And then Torre was playing at left wing back, which was a little bit of a surprise, given that Tyreek Wright's actually played really well lately. So we did make a lot of changes, which was a little bit of a disappointment, a little bit of a surprise. Graham Alexander explained afterwards, and he mentioned it more than once in that post-match interview, that the biggest game for us this week is Blackpool on Saturday. It does make you think that possibly, given where we are in the league, being top of League One and the good run that we're on at the moment in the league, maybe there's been a little bit of a shift and we're realising that perhaps we could be onto something in the league and we're prioritising it ahead of the Cup. But obviously, still a big game for everybody. I think it was important that Tyreek Wright, Anthony Sarcevic, Josh Nerfville, Andy Cook all got onto the pitch because nobody wants to miss out on such an occasion as last night. But yeah, the big game is obviously on Saturday and we hope that Will Swan's fit for that and that Aidan Baldwin isn't too far away. Joe Wright was also on the bench last night, which is a big boost. He's been out for a couple of weeks. Newcastle, as for them, went really, really strong. Guimaraes played. Joe Linton played. Yeah, all the big names, Anthony Gordon. They actually made 5 changes for their game against Bournemouth at the weekend and then put everybody back in for last night against us. So they gave us a lot of respect, which we've got to be grateful for, really. They obviously... they knew how good we were and how good we could be and what a threat we could pose, and they respected us for that. As for the game, it was a bit of a mismatch, really. They dominated. They had a lot of the ball. They had a lot of chances. They beat us 4-1. To be honest, they could have had 10 on the night. They missed a lot of chances. But yeah, like I say, lots of respect for us. Played the Stars. And it was a great experience for fans and our players to go up there and test ourselves against that. What I will say is that their fans and their manager and their team have all been extremely complimentary about Bradford City, both as a team and a fan base. Some of them are saying that we were some of the best away fans that they've seen in recent years up there. Eddie Howe said that he could hear us all night up there in the 7th floor of the away stand. So we did ourselves proud. Obviously, very, very happy for Andy Cook to get on. Who writes his scripts, coming back after all this time out, gets his 2 goals against Grimsby and then gets a goal as a sub against his boyhood heroes, Newcastle at St James's Park. So delighted for him. I think he's now got 3 goals in about 70 minutes of play this season. So it shows that when he's back to full fitness, he's going to be a real problem for other teams and a big, big plus for us in League One. So delighted for him. Like I say, we're out of the Cup, but it sounds like our priority is on the league and we're at home to Blackpool on Saturday where we need to bounce back. I think that Blackpool will be a tough test. I think Steve Bruce will come and make it difficult for us. We've done well against teams that have wanted possession and kept the ball this season. I would argue one of our toughest games was Wimbledon, who wanted to play similar way to us, physical, and didn't want as much of the ball. So I wonder if teams are going to look at that and perhaps change how they play when they come to Valley Parade. I think Steve Bruce is probably quite likely to do that. And they'll make it difficult for us on Saturday. So yeah, we need to bounce back. Hopefully we'll have some of the players that have impressed so far this season back in the team. Hopefully Aidan Baldwin and Will Swan aren't out for too long. But yeah, a good night, but a disappointing result. Onwards and upwards with the West Yorkshire Football Show.